What is going on, everybody? So Nintendo just put out a trailer celebrating Donkey Kong's 30th anniversary, and they were showing every single Donkey Kong Country game is actually on Nintendo Switch, which is really cool, and actually that's extremely cool considering the fact that even the two modern ones with Returns and Tropical Freeze will all be on Nintendo Switch by the beginning of next year, which is awesome. I still wish there was a big new Donkey Kong game to celebrate this huge 30th anniversary. It's completely strange that there's not. Hopefully there is a big one for Switch too, but that's for a completely different video. Today's video is to talk more about Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, as we got a brand new trailer for the game, and it doesn't look great. Now, it's weird. There's things that have been clearly improved, and then there's things that have been clearly downgraded for some reason, and I don't really know why. Now, thankfully, Gamexplain actually made a really cool video actually showcasing a comparison between the original trailer that we got and also the original game on Wii, and giving us a good look at what changed. So if you want to see their whole full video, definitely click on the link in the description down below where you can watch all their comparisons. But I just want to go over a couple and some noticeable ones that's just very strange to me. There's some areas that the lighting just looks strange in. It's more brighter and detailed, but in some cases it kind of takes away from the ambiance and it kind of makes it look strange. I can't really explain it, but you can see with some, it just looks a little weird and kind of just strange color and shadow to things. And they also try to upgrade like everything in the background pretty much looks cleaner and crisper, which is good. But there's a couple instances where they make things look too crisp, like little shadows in the background now have jagged lines where they're making it pop out now, and it's very noticeable. Like for instance, the stalactites in the background have this weird detail, and it's almost like throwing you off that it's just so detailed compared to other things like in the foreground where it's supposed to be like more blurry, and back there it's not bad, but what is bad is they even have pop in. Like you can literally see sections where it just pops in after shooting out of the cannon. Why? It just looks bad. They changed the smoke when enemies disappear. It's more puffy and stylized now, even though you could even argue that it looked better and had more detail in the Wii version where you could see like the feathers and pieces of the enemy shoot out. In some areas, they've completely changed the background. Like look at this area where it had palm trees on this tree line all the way off in the back by the sunset, and now they just kind of like stripped it of its palm trees and now it has jagged edges to it, and it just looks weird with strange tree textures going along the line. Yeah, and the sunset doesn't even look anywhere near as beautiful as the Wii version. The water details are also absolutely terrible, where it looks like they just took a white line and brushed it across the top of the water. Gamexplain, you know, kind of explaining how it resembles something like Paper Mario or something. It just doesn't look natural, where in the Wii, it looked a lot more natural, just like a regular wave with details in the water. I mean, seriously, look at how different this looks. There's things that definitely have improved from the original trailer, though. For instance, there's little details in certain areas and environments, or even this giant bat's echo waves that it shoots out looks a lot better than the original trailer showed. Something else Gamexplain pointed out is that the frame rate in the original trailer was around 30 frames. This time it's been bumped up, but only to around like 45 frames in this specific scene, where on the original Wii, once again, it was 60 frames. So it's very, very strange. Once again, this hardware, it's getting annoying at this point. Another thing Gamexplain pointed out was the one positive was the fur on Donkey Kong, which looked a lot more realistic than the Wii version. Well, it looks like from the original trailer, they've actually toned it back down to look more like a freaking long sleeve shirt. Like, what is this? This looks like a fuzzy brown sweater that Donkey Kong is wearing. Like, it's insane. Why in the world would they regress it back down to this after making such an improvement in that original trailer? I have no clue. Maybe it messed with the frame rate and they, you know, overall wanted a better frame rate, so they had to take away from Donkey Kong's detail. I don't know, because that wasn't an issue on Tropical Freeze because the game runs and looks beautiful. Why is it an issue here? But like I previously stated, if you want to see this full comparison video that Gamexplain posted, you can click on the link in the description down below. They did a really good job at showcasing all the little details and the major ones as well. Oh yeah, I guess there's one positive change or something that's unique. Instead of Donkey Kong holding the Wiimote in the background, he now holds a red Joy-Con. So, I mean, if you missed the Wiimote, I'm sorry, it's gone. But yeah, it's just so many things that's just strange to me, like jagged textures that doesn't look clean, and just, you know, assets that look changed for some reason when they didn't need to be. Textures in the background kind of unblurred to the point where they have jagged edges and they look strange, almost something taken out of a Paper Mario game. This is pretty frustrating, and I know Nintendo still has time to work these problems out, but the game launches in just over a month. Like, they don't have much time. So what we're seeing here is probably close to a final build, unless I'm just missing something. Hopefully this is to get fixed. I don't know if there's going to be a patch or something, but This is just unacceptable. I mean, if you're at the point where we don't have any games to really look forward to until Nintendo announces Switch 2, and you're just pump feeding us older games and then charging $60 for those games for them to have little to no real work done on them, it's just not okay, and it doesn't sit well with me. I'm like, if you're gonna give us an old game, at least give some effort to it. If this is really what this game is gonna look like, how come they didn't bundle it in with Tropical Freeze from the very beginning? Instead, they wanted to charge a full price tag for both of these old games, one on the Wii U and one on the Wii. That's the problem, and I think a lot of people are gonna have an issue that this game is being charged $60, like $60 for messy assets and slapped together assets for a quick and rushed finish. One of the most confusing things to me still is Metroid Prime Remastered, because the team that worked on that, genuinely, like, why in the world can we not have games like this? Why is it that every remake that Nintendo makes, or remaster, or old game brought back is just completely butchered from its original frame rate, and they just, change assets and just make things look worse than the original version? It's just like, why even remaster it at this point? I've had the same problem with Luigi's Mansion 2, where I felt like a lot of the assets just didn't look all that much better, and I guess a lot of people still consider that a remake, and to me, it still looks like a 3DS game, very much so. But like I said, Metroid Prime Remastered is beautiful. It's one of the best looking games on Switch. It runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, and it just looks beautiful. The assets are perfect. Everything's just fine-tuned and just excellently brought over to the Nintendo Switch, and it just genuinely makes me question, what happened with some of these games? Are these other games being rushed? And it's making me worry. Like, I hope Metroid Prime 2 and 3 aren't rushed in these veins, and they're not taken as long as, whatever Metroid Prime took. I don't know how long that game took in development. Maybe it took longer than the rest of these, but that's what I'm scared for. Like, if we still have another, like, half a year, like, middle of next year until Switch 2 launches, or maybe even end of next year, that means Nintendo's still going to have a year full of remakes, remasters, and ports on this old hardware. That's another issue, is just that the Switch is old now. It's 8 years of this console. It's time to move on to something that's more powerful, something that can run these games. If Nintendo's own first-party games aren't running at 60 frames and looking smooth and clean, then why in the world would any other developer want to put their games on this? Like I said before, I still would love to pick up and play third-party games on Switch, but they all run like absolute doo-doo. Like, Fortnite runs horribly. It's like almost 15-20 frames per second. It's literally unplayable for me. I don't know how people play on that. I mean, you have to be the most casual of casual players to enjoy any sort of Fortnite on Nintendo Switch. But any other third-party game, like, I immediately go straight over to another console. There's a couple that I'll check, and I did that recently because I was interested in going back and playing the Klonoa series, which just came out on modern consoles again, which was really cool. And I wanted to figure out which console I wanted to buy it on. And I literally said, this is Klonoa, this is more of a cartoonish game, I probably will get this one on Switch. And I looked up a couple of comments online, and people are saying, if you can get it on anything else, definitely do so, because the frame rate is spotty and the graphics are spotty at times. Definitely get it on anything else, on PC, on PlayStation, on Xbox. And that's just pathetic. I mean, you have this console that is, you can take games on the go, you can play it at home. I would love to have all my games on Nintendo Switch, but it's just not capable of running certain things at this point. This needs fixed. I don't know, maybe the game gets better, but I mean, this isn't the first time we've gone through something like this, and it's something that's starting to really bother me. It's starting to bother other people. Like I said, I love the remake for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, but it just ran so slow compared to the original version. That 30 frames per second that would also bounce around, same with Echoes of Wisdom, and same with Mario & Luigi Brothership, which actually has some areas where it runs horrible. It's just a continuous ongoing thing, and these aren't like really crazy high graphic demanding games we're talking about here. We're talking about 2D platformers, RPG spin-offs that are stylized. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to uncover here. It's just time for the next console. It's time for Nintendo to start making some changes, but this just definitely disappoints me, because this is a really good game, and it deserves, if it's going to get a remaster, to actually feel like a remaster. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Are you still happy to pick up this game? Are you a little less happy now? Are you upset about this at all? Definitely let me know down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.